What's up, guys? Just Shane here from Team COG coming at you with some combo tutorials for Noble Knights. Noble Knights is a deck I've picked up pretty much recently. I've been picking it up over time. For a while it was a little bit hyped, so it was a little expensive. It was about when I started picking it up, so it took me a while. Ever since I've got this deck together, I've realized it's a really fun, really consistent, surprisingly, deck. It's currently probably my main deck, and I'll probably be doing a lot more videos on this. If you guys are interested in a deck profile for this one, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll be sure to get that to you. But let's move on to the combos with this deck. So this deck is relatively consistent, especially since it did get one of the spells everybody said it needed to get, which was a monster / equip spell searcher. You don't have to run the hidden armory anymore, which is good. Merlin's also a really good consistency booster, so that's good. A lot of your main advantage gaining combos are actually going to start off with Madrat. Madrat's a really good card. If you don't open a Noble Arms or a way to get to a Noble Arms in each hand, though, you're going to run into some problems. So I run 8 Noble Arms, 2 of which are duplicates. So that's 6 Noble Arms of different names. 2 Excalibur and 2 Destiny, which are some of the most useful ones. My favorite one to start off with is Caliburn. So if you open Caliburn with another Noble Arms, I would suggest equipping Caliburn. It's probably the one you're going to get with the most advantage, as well as you'll be able to cheese some wins in time. So of course, the first time you activate it, gain 500. That's not a once per turn effect, so it's only while it's on field. So each time it's destroyed and re-equipped, or re-equipped in general, you can gain 500. So at the end of this combo, you're actually going to end up gaining 500, or you're going to end up gaining an extra 1500 life points. So that's really good. There's ways to extend into this combo. I actually didn't make this combo up myself. I did see it a little bit, but I didn't quite see it as consistently as I saw it on Asian Persuasion's channel. He's a really great YouTuber. He does a lot of these kind of decks where they're just kind of rogue options. If you guys wanted to go see his profile, I could put the link in the description below. You guys just let me know, or I'll put it in the comments. Actually, I'll pin it in the comments. So, but this is his combo. So first you'll summon Madrat any way you can. You can use Merlin if you have to, and equip a Noble Arms that's re-equipable. The only Noble Arm that is unequipable is Excalibur, but Excalibur is also the only one you can control more than one of at the same time. So each equipped you can only control one of each equipped besides him. So equipped Caliburn gains 500, and then Madrat effect activate. So it's important to know that Madrat does not actually destroy the equipped spell until after the monster is summoned, thus making Morgan, the Enchantress of Avalon, live if she's in your hand, meaning she can negate an Ash if you get ashed. Otherwise, play Called By, of course. Called By is a really good spell for protecting these combos. You really need them to go off. So you'll summon Ivan. I've done something pretty bad here, so you can learn from my mistake. What I did was I summoned Madrat here, which isn't really detrimental to your combo, but you might not want it there later in the turn because your Isolde's it's going to take up a zone for your Isolde no matter where you put it. So either put the Madrat here or to the far side of the field. For now, it's not really that important. I'm going to move all this down so I can get the Isolde out. So you'll destroy the Caliburn and re-equip it to Ivan. Ivan will have his effect activate, summoning you a token. The token is a Noble Knight Warrior, so just link those two into the Isolde. Isolde's will not gain any effects, of course, but she will be pretty quick way to get into her. Once you've done that, Isolde will use her effect to search. You can search whichever one you like. Right now, I am searching Echtar, however you say his name. Right now, he's the one I'm searching because he's the brickiest in the deck. If you open him, you're kind of bummed. I'm thinking about taking him out of the deck and putting in Gualchivold. Yeah, Gualchivold. Instead of him, because at least then I'd have a level 4, which I can summon the Gawain off of, because it's also a normal monster. So at least then I'd be able to go into Isolde. So Isolde will add Etchtar to hand, so you're plussing 1 right there. Just so you know, you can't use it for the rest of the turn, so if you had like Brothers in hand, you cannot summon it if you were able to get the Brothers to normal summon again. Then we'll use the Isolde. Isolde will send 4 more equip spells to the grave. So Noble Arms of Destiny, Excalibur, and Excalibur are the 3 you want to make sure you send to the graveyard. Other than that, you can send any other ones. So if you didn't have Excalibur in grave, you would be sending Excalibur as well as another random one. I like to send Gallatin just in case I don't get the shuffle back. And Edifer is fine because it's the one because it replaces the Caliburn for the 4th one. As far as why you're sending ones you don't really want, the card you're going to summon off of this is Noble Knight Brothers. Brothers has an effect to shuffle back 3 no matter what. So you're going to end up being shuffling the 2 random equip spells, so Gallatin, Edifer, and Ivan, because Ivan was able to do your Isolde, and if you can get him back in the deck, that's for the best. Brothers will shuffle back in the 3, putting your Isolde to remain live, and then draw. So I drew into an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which is really good. It'll help me control my opponent for the next turn. Then you can overlay and go into a rank 4. I prefer to go into a Torghast, King of the Noble Knights, as I can then equip the 3 from grave. If you have a good Mech Knight presence, you'll want to equip them away from your monsters, but I'm not currently playing like I would be playing against any Mech Knights, so I'm just equipping them wherever. So yep, you end up with just 2 cards, you end up plussing 2, and then have your pretty much your most important combination of combos. And I'll be doing let's do a similar one to that. We can do a similar one to that real quick. So a lot of the combos of this deck are very similar to one another. You kind of see the same trends throughout the whole thing. So this time we're going to have a Brothers in hand and a Madrot on field. And you'll want to have another Noble Knight with the Brothers, because this way you'll be able to get a little bit more advantage. Dristan or Ivan are the ones you want to see in your hand, pretty much. Ivan's a really good one to see in your hand only for this play because you have a Brothers in hand. This is another way to get Ivan out. If you have Brothers just in hand without a Madrot, you can summon the Brothers and then special summon the Ivan and the Dristan. It does require a lot of hand for most of these combos, but really all you need is any level 4 Noble Knight, Ivan, and a re-equipable equip spell. So, and Brothers, of course. So what we'll do here is you kind of bricked, you opened Heritage. So you used Heritage to search either Caliburn or until Noble Arm or the Noble Arms are needed. Or Noble Arms Caliburn. Or Destiny. So Destiny will protect from destruction if nothing else. A problem with these combos is you will reach 5 pretty much every time. You'll only barely reach 5, but it's really a price you gotta pay. So remember that Madrot's only useful if you summon if you have no monsters on board besides himself. So if you try to use him with a monster on board besides himself, he will not be able to activate. So we'll do Caliburn, or gain 500 from Caliburn, destroy, or special summon and destroy. We can re-equip Caliburn to Custonin just for the extra 500. Custonin won't gain any extra effects or anything, but it's good just for the life point gain. So Custonin and Madrat to link into Two Tails of the Noble Arms, Isolde. Isolde will add to hand. We'll add the Ektar. Ektar to hand. You don't really want to draw into him for turn because he can brick you pretty badly. So, now that we've used Noble Knight Custonin for the link summon of Isolde, we will actually get another additional normal summon. So, we'll normal summon out Brothers. Brothers will in turn special summon these two. Now, in the end, these two can be any two level 4s because you probably won't have another equip spell in hand. So, in reality, you're going to end with a pretty niche board, but it will end you with a board nonetheless. Isolde's effect will be able to summon out another level 4. So, in reality, you will end with 2 Noble Arms, or Noble Knight rank 4s, because the summon of Brothers limits you to only Noble Knight monsters, which is unfortunate. So the 2 you're going to want to go into, and then we'll special summon out. You'll only want to shuffle back once with Brothers, so if you want, you can kind of burn all your resources for the extra draws to see what you get. But I prefer to keep the Excalibur, Caliburn, and Destiny engraved, so I wouldn't really recommend doing that. But you could if you wanted to summon out another Brothers. It just wouldn't be something I recommend personally. You won't gain a lot of advantage that way. Trying to find Boars, one moment. Noble Knight Boars. And that can be any rank 4 or level 4. Because you're just going to be using it. You'll want to remember to use the effect of Brothers first to shuffle back. So go ahead and shuffle back Adifur, Custonin, and Madrat. You can keep the extra Noble Arms you tossed in there. The extra Noble Arm that I like to keep in there is Gallatin, because Gallatin's 1000 attack boost is very useful and very good in my opinion. So we'll shuffle these 3 back. And then draw 1. So we actually got the Until Noble Arms are needed once again. So that's going to be a pretty good card for moving forward. I'm going to put that there. We'll do Ivan and Dristan. If we had the opportunity to pop something, we could have. We'll do Artorigus. Artorigus will equip 3. Excalibur, Destiny, and Caliburn. Caliburn effect gain 500. We're now gain 1500 total. And then overlay Brothers and Boars. And we'll go King Custon. Custonin's a pretty good XYZ because when he's destroyed, he can reset all your monster. Or he can summon another XYZ monster, a Noble Knight XYZ monster, and attach himself as material. So when he's destroyed, you'll actually be able to summon out Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorigus with him underneath. So that's really good, and then once that's summoned, you can attach the Noble Arms Gallatin to him. We'll also be able to set the Until Noble Arms are needed once again. And on your opponent's turn, I'm off the fucking... There, guys, had to do some quick readjusting. On your opponent's turn, during the standby phase is what I recommend. We'll flip until Noble Arms are needed once again, and we'll mill 3. So Morgan's the really good pick from here. Called by the Grave would have been good last turn to protect your stuff, but Morgan's going to be the card you'll want to add from that bunch. And then you can put it back in any order. So we're going to leave Custon on the bottom and put Called by the Grave on the top, just to keep our stuff safe. So Noble Arms will go to Grave, so we can use it next turn. And then we have Morgan in hand to interrupt your opponent's plays. So this way you end with a Link 2, a Link 4, or a Rank 4, and another Rank 4. So this requires a lot more hand, but you do get a little bit more board out of it. As well, you can end with the +1 in your hand. I didn't add any. You will use a lot of cards from your hand, but Noble Knight Echtar and Morgan were both pluses from this turn, because Noble Arms needed again was the plus from Brothers. So as far as I am considered, that's how I count them. As well, when one of your Noble Knight cards are destroyed, you'll be able to add the Heritage of the Chalice back to hand. This is very important that you don't forget, because it is very advantageous, especially when they clear your board pretty hard. Not to mention, if Sacred Noble Knight King of Custonin is destroyed, you get to add it back, as well as slap another XYZ monster on top and equip Gallatin. So you really don't lose much. If you wanted to wait for Custonin to get offed, you could. I wouldn't recommend it, because they might go after your King Artorigus first. He is only 25. He can be destroyed once, but that's not really super helpful sometimes. So, yeah. That was the next combo. Brothers is a really good card for making your combos stick. And Isolde is super important for most of the combos to resolve. So you kind of want to see Called by the Grave in hand each turn. But with Nibiru, the Primordial being out, I think the way to go with this deck would be to go second. I would almost consider maining Nibiru or the Dark Ruler No More. Tell me what you guys would think. I was thinking Dark Ruler No More, because it can't be directly responded to, and a lot of combo boards can be broken pretty easily. We'll do one more combo, and this will be just with Custonin, Ivan, and an Equip Spell. We'll do Caliburn again. Caliburn won't gain us as much advantage, but you guys can substitute this out for any re-equipable card. Caliburn's just personally my favorite equip. So what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to normal summon the Ivan. Ivan's has no effect when normal summoned until equipped with an Equip Spell. So equipped Caliburn. Caliburn will gain 500 again. And then Ivan will summon a token. I keep summoning it in the middle. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter too terribly much which way you summon it, unless you're playing against somebody who's playing the Iron Dragon, in which case probably don't summon it underneath either of the zones if you were going to plan on building underneath that zone. If anybody's playing Iron Dragon, though, you're kind of playing somebody pretty jank anyway. So, especially if it's main decked. Because there's a Noble Arms equipped on board, you can special summon the Custonin. I prefer summoning him in defense, because his defense is a lot larger than his attack. So, working with absolutely nothing else on board, we're going to link off the Custonin and the token. We're going to do this because this way the Isolde will be able to do an additional normal summon later in the turn if it comes up. We're basically working with the concept that these were the only 3 cards in hand. So you may not gain much advantage from it, because we're not going to be able to do very much with Brothers. We're still going to be able to shuffle back the Custonin, so, and the 2 randoms. So in the end, we're still going to be able to resolve the Brothers, and we'll see what we get off of it. But Brothers probably won't gain us much advantage because of the fact that you cannot summon Merlin off of Brothers as well instead. But if we did special summon Dristan, that'd be, or if we did draw Dristan, that'd be a great normal summon in addition. But we'll just have to see. Custonin's Engrave, we're going to use the first effect of Isolde to add Etched Star to hand, so we're immediately plussing 1. We can't use them for the rest of the turn though, remember? And then we will send Noble Arms of Destiny, Excalibur, Adfern, I don't really know how to pronounce that one, and Gallatin. So, the problem with this situation is if you did not have Caliburn, Excalibur, or Destiny on the field, you would have to shuffle one of the ones you want to keep. So Caliburn, Excalibur, and Noble Arms are the 3 you want in your grave to re-equip to your XYZ, your kings. So in order to re-equip to the kings, they have to be in grave. But the problem would be if the one that you had equipped on field was Gallatin or Adrefern, then you wouldn't be able, you would be forced to shuffle back one of the key ones. This is a disadvantage because you wouldn't be able to use the custom as effectively. So instead you would have to use the Ivan. But since Caliburn was the one equipped, it'll be fine. So Custom still in grave. We'll resolve the Isolde to special summon Brothers. Brothers will do his thing again. Brothers will shuffle back the Gallatin, Adafern, and Custom. The only reason you didn't add one of the 4s off of Isolde is because you wouldn't be able to use it this turn, and if you were able to draw it off Brothers, you would still gain more advantage than if you were to add it off Isolde. So, shuffle those back in, and then draw to resolve Brothers. So we did actually draw into Merlin, which, like I said, we can't actually summon off of Isolde because he's not technically a Noble Knight monster. Which is unfortunate. It'd be nice if he had like a subtext that said is always considered a Noble Knight monster or something like that. But he does not, so that is unfortunate. So we did not gain any extenders, so we'll just simply overlay. Caliburn will fall off during the overlay, putting him back in grave for us to use for Artorgus, King of the Noble Knights. Artorgus will re-equip the 3. And since Isolde is going to be such an important asset, we will use the effect of Artorgus, King of the Noble Knights. Detach, destroy the Destiny. Destiny will re-equip to Isolde, and then Isolde has a little more protection than what she did. Caliburn will gain 500 again. That'll gain us 1,000 for the whole turn. And unfortunately, that's the best you can do if you wanted to protect the Isolde. If you didn't really think you needed to protect the Isolde as much, you could go for the Sacred Knight of King Cusnet. He's a really good going second card, but also going first, he pretty much provides a little layer of defense because you can summon Sacred with him. Sacred will attach the 3, and then he'll be at 27, untargetable, and can't be destroyed once. So that's another course of play for that. I prefer to go into Artorgus and protect the Isolde though. So that's all for the combos I'm going to show you guys right now. If you guys want some more, let me know in the comment section down below. We'll do a few quick test hands, and then I'll let you guys pass turn. Or you guys could have tuned out by now, but you wouldn't have heard that anyway, so. Let's see if any of the combos I just showed you pop up. So, draw 1, Ash Blossom, Gwalchevald, Glory of the Noble Knights, Noble Arms of Destiny, and Madrot. So, Madrot kind of saved us right there. If he had not shown up, we would have been kind of in trouble. So, we'll normal summon the Madrot, and I'm actually going to activate Glory of the Noble Knights instead of activating the Noble Arms of Destiny. So, we're going to equip Caliburn. Now, if you wanted to save the Glory of the Noble Knights until later, you could. I prefer to gain the extra 500. It's just being a little bit greedy because I know I'm not getting anything. Nothing's going to happen during this line of play, so I am preferring to go with Caliburn. If you suspect your opponent's holding a Ghost Ogre or something like that, though, I would recommend equipping the Destiny. Ghost Ogre is going to be pretty prominent in this upcoming meta, so Destiny is probably going to be the way to go for a little bit. So, Caliburn equip, Madrot's effect. We don't have anything to stop it if they have an Ash Blossom, so hope they don't have an Ash Blossom. I'm going to summon Ivan, and it's a really easy combo to get into, so Caliburn re-equipped, gain 500 again. Now remember, you cannot re-equip the Caliburn if you destroy it again. Ivan will special summon the token. Token and Ivan. If you wanted to use Madrot, you could. I just don't recommend it, as Ivan's a lot more useful in the deck in case your whole board gets blown up. So Caliburn will go. We'll make Isolde. Two Tails. Isolde effect to add your brick from deck to hand. If I can find the brick. Each star. So, we've got 4 cards still in hand. And then we'll use the effect of Isolde to send to grave. Since we have Caliburn already in grave, and we have Noble Arms of Destiny in hand, we'll send Gallatin, Adifern, Excalibur, and instead of sending another Destiny, we will send the Clarent. We'll be shuffling back the Clarent and the Adifern with the Ivan when we special summon out the Brothers. Brothers effect, we'll shuffle back Clarent, Excalibur will stay, Adifern, and Ivan. We're going to be equipping Gallatin at the first opportunity. What you want to remember, though, is if you're not careful, your monsters can get very weak with him. So if you equipped it to King Artorigus, make sure to blow it up every other turn when you have the opportunity to. If you're blowing up your opponent's back row, make sure to try and hit the Gallatin, or else you're going to end up with a very weak monster. You can re-equip it to him, but just remember to pop it every so often, just so that it doesn't weaken your monster to an extreme degree. So, just making sure you guys can see everything. We'll cut the deck, draw, and we got Tristan. Tristan's nice. I would have kind of preferred, I don't know what Tristan will be a nice follow-up turn. What? We'll overlay And this is supposed to be Gawain, so that would have been a pretty good, if that had been Custanin, that would have been pretty good for extension, but it was not. So, we'll overlay. We'll go, depending on how you want to play this deck, more defensive style, you can go King Custanin. King Custanin won't re-equip all the things, but which kind of won't matter since you don't have until the Noble Arms are needed once again. But either way, Custanin is a more defensive if you were planning to summon out the Sacred Noble Knight, King of Artorigus later. But I prefer to go into Artorigus. I prefer to have the monster protected on board so that they kind of have to get through a wall, or they have to get to the king to get to the castle, I guess. And then we'll use his effect to re-equip. We'll equip Gallatin, Caliburn, and Excalibur to him. And then we'll take the Noble Arms of Destiny from our hand and equip it to Isolde. Isolde will now be protected once per turn. She's not as useful as she was before, but that's okay. Another thing, you can shuffle back the Glory of the Noble Knights with Brothers as well. Just a little bit of a thing if you want to do that, so you can reuse it later. So that way you end with 4 cards in your hand. Dristan is always a really good spot removal. We'll have Ash for interruption on your opponent's turn, Gawain and Ishtar for a follow-up turn, and then for turn we'll draw Merlin. So even if they destroyed our board, we'd be able to recur with Merlin to get the Madrat engine going again. We don't have a Noble Arms actually, so we would not be able to do that. But that's a board for you. It's a little bit easier to get through. It's Naruto. It's Rocky Boy susceptible, because after you hit as soon as you would be summoning the monster off of Isolde, you're at 5. So you gotta kind of watch out for Rocky Boy. That's why I'm kind of thinking of playing this deck as the going second deck, because it's gonna be a little better to break boards than it is to have a board not be broken. It's kind of going into board breaking format, in my opinion. With the Rocky Boy and the Dark Ruler No More, it's going to be a pretty intense format. It doesn't matter if your deck's even just a little combo, if it summons more than 5 times, or even if it just relies too much on its monsters, you're kind of bummed. So this hand, we're actually kind of bummed. We kind of bricked. If we had opened a single Noble Arms, we would be fine, but we did not. So we can try and play through this though. We'll summon Brothers. Brothers, of course, will summon the Madrat and the Custanin. We'll link off the Custanin and the Madrat. This will allow us to normal summon later in the turn, of course. Isolde effect will add to hand. It's too bad Isolde can't add equips to hand. That'd be fucking broken. We'll add Ishtar. Secondary effect of Isolde to ditch. We'll ditch Noble Arms of Destiny, Excalibur, Gallatin, and Caliburn. Sorry if you guys can't see the graveyard sometimes. I'm getting a little carried away. This will allow the Brothers to shuffle back. We'll shuffle back the Gallatin and Madrat and Custanin. So as long as you kind of open with enough Noble Knights, you can kind of end up pretty well off. Just remember, you won't be able to protect with the Morgan because you don't control any equip spells. So we'll shuffle these back into the deck and draw just after we resolve our special summon, of course. We'll special summon Dristan. He's kind of pointless at this point, but yeah, he's kind of pointless at this point. But he'll be good to have in grave later if we end up with a Monster Reborn or something like that. So, shuffle back. Brothers will lock us into Noble Knight, so unfortunately we can't use any other links. Draw for turn. We've got Monster Reborn. Or not Monster Reborn, Reinforcements of the Army. So, if we had summoned something like Boars, we could have searched Gawain, but he wouldn't have done us a lot of good anyway. Because, yeah. Next turn, at least we'll be able to search something that we need. We can still normal summon in addition, but we don't really have anywhere to go with that. If we had had another level 4 Noble Knight, that would have been good. We wouldn't have been able to add it off of Noble Knight Edgetar, but we'll overlay here. Artorigus. And equip 3. Effective Artorigus to destroy. And equip Destiny. So, in the end, we're basically doing the same combo over and over again. The deck's relatively decent at pulling off the combo, but if you don't open an equip spell or Brothers with a couple Noble Knights, you're kind of boned. It's pretty unfortunate, but you kind of are. Ivan can get you a few combos, a few plays, but in the end of the day, you'll have to open pretty nuts in order to play around. It also comes down to luck off the Brothers sometimes, because the Brothers can make or break you, just depending on what you draw into. So, that's been the combos and a few test hands from me, Just Shane, here at Team COG. Don't forget to go check out our Twitter, Facebook. We might be getting a sponsorship from Ophidian because we use some of their mats sometimes. They're just play mats we got a while ago from regionals, but we might be getting a sponsorship, so look out for our review on their mat, possibly. That should be fun. Openings yet to come. We've got a few deck profiles on backlog. I think there's a Fortune Fairy deck profile. And let me know if you guys want to see the Noble Knight deck profile I was testing with today. It's been a fun deck to get to know, and I can't really say I enjoy any other deck quite like I enjoy Noble Knights right now. So, this has been Shane from Team COG, and I'll see you in the next game.